Yeah, what's up guys? Opex again. Riding my bike. The spot from yesterday I thought was pretty cool, so I'm gonna redo it again. So today I want to talk about something different. I want to talk about tolerance, specifically from external threats. This would be like poisons, things like that. The reason why I want to talk about this is because people have a terrible understanding of what people are capable of or defending against from outside intruders, whether that be, well, viruses or poisons or venoms and stuff like that. So it's been widely understood that people have allergies. I want to start with allergies. People have a reason to be scared of these nuts or whatever it is that you're allergic to. The reason being is because you legitly have an allergic reaction to these things, which is generally unnatural. I'm a firm believer you build up a tolerance to something in order to fend it off. All right, so in the world of allergies, the way that you fend off allergies is having small doses of it. If that's what you want. If your child has a peanut allergy or some sort of nut allergy and they can't have that type of nut butter, well, holy fuck. That's not something you see every day. Where is it? There it is. It's right over my head. Really low to the ground. Anyways, it's fucking up my video. Well, you want to give your child some of that nut. Not because the nut itself is generally a problem for children. The problem is what the manufacturers are doing to these nuts. They're genetically modifying these nuts. They are doing things to these nuts, especially in the nut butters, like peanut butter, which your body can't really handle. I'm also a firm believer that everyone has something, right? Everyone has an allergy to something. Everybody has an effect when stung by a bee. Everyone has an effect, just different levels. Now, everyone's different. Of course, genetics make a difference. There's tons of different variations of these problems that can occur, and variations between the defender. But I have a firm core belief through reason and evidence that everyone has a peanut allergy. Everyone. It's just some of us can fend it off a little easier. Some of us are just more prone to it because we were fed it as kids. So, of course, when we're growing up, it's not going to affect us as much. It's the same thing with you have chicken pox, right? When you're older and you get chicken pox, it can be deadly. But once you have it young and you have your immune system up to par, you know, you can fend off the chicken pox. Now, this can go with, like I just said, viruses to allergies to anything else. Now, let's dive into viruses. Where are viruses located? Another core belief of mine, because I have not found any evidence or even enough reasoning scientifically to disprove this. I don't believe viruses are natural out in nature. Do I believe there's bacteria? Yes. There's a lot of bacteria in nature, right? There's bacteria right where I'm sitting, right here. Bacteria, right? Problem is that for the bacteria is that it can't infiltrate my immune system because I have white blood cells and I have a superior defense against bacteria. Now, if I am always in the mud and always breathing in this air and always, you know, jumping into lake water, which is pretty shitty where I'm from, or pond water, if I'm jumping in this stuff and I'm swirling around, I'm pretty much immune to anything. I remember George Carlin said something similar on a stand-up special, saying that he used to swim in the Hudson River, which is full of chemicals and waste and byproducts and just disgusting levels of mercury and stuff like that, right? And he would swim in there and boom, he's never sick. He's never sick. But of course, the people that didn't do that, especially these newborns, the younger generation, that don't really get out much. They just stay inside, play video games. Parents are scared about their kids going out because there are murderers and rapists and so much scary things I saw on the news and what adults do to kids these days, that the kids don't even go outside anymore and they're staying prone inside where they have no natural defenses against that bug, right? Bacteria, let's say. or whatever harmful waste, right? Remember, I think my generation was the last generation that drank straight out of the hose, right? During summertime, it's hot, you got the hose right there, and you know, you're 5 years old and you sip the hose, and the hose tasted a little weird, but hey, we survived, right? Same thing goes with anything, right? When you have little bacteria running around and you're always inside, when you're exposed to that bacteria is going to fuck you up because your body isn't used to having to deal with bacteria. So you have a really shitty immune system. So my suggestion, have your kids play in the dirt, play in the ponds, play in these things, because you're not going to get sick. There is no virus in your pond. I mean, there might be, actually. But in nature, in natural nature, it's my core belief, viruses can't exist. This is something that's man-made. Of course, watch my previous videos. I don't have time to dive into all that because I'll never get further in this video. But you can definitely watch all my videos in the past when I talk about viruses. Now, bacteria, if you build up an immune system to it, with even all the small bacteria, when big bad bug wants to come around, the super bug comes in, well, what's going to happen? Your body has a natural defense against it. But when you're inside all day and playing video games and watching movies and you have no vitamin D and no nutrients because you're eating terrible foods and fast foods and all these nasty things, you know, eating food that comes from a box that you're preparing through flour and all types of disgusting methods of creating food-like substances, this isn't natural. This is terrible for your body, and then you're not able to fight off the bugs. And you can get food poisoning and stuff like that. Now, of course, you can get food poisoning either way, but you have a better chance of fighting it off if you have a great immune system. There's no doubt about it. Now, let's dive into, say, I talked about allergies, I talked about bacteria. Let's talk about poisons. All right? So, poisons and venoms. I'm going to put this in one category. Poison. Poison ivy. All right? A lot of people think that they're just immune to it, or that they can get it real easy. Well, in my opinion, this couldn't be further from the truth. I believe that somewhere in your psyche tells you that that's poison ivy and that's bad, right? And I'm pretty confident that you can get poison ivy. It doesn't matter what species you are. I mean, generally humans get it more worse than the other animals. But why do we get affected by poison ivy? I mean, telling you the truth straight up, I'll tell you a little story. I remember I was maybe 11, 12 years old. My cousin would come over, which literally lived 2 doors down from where I was staying at the time. And he would come over, and we had a tree, and all the way up to the tree, all the way down to the tree, you can climb a poison ivy vine, right? And he would always just go up it and always tell us to stay back. He was a little older than us. He would always say, hey, I'm immune to poison ivy. I'm not sure if you guys are, so I'll just go up there. And I was like, what? If you're immune to poison ivy? And he would do it right in front of us. He'd grab the vine, he would go all the way up, his arms touching it and scraping up against it and everything. And he never got it. And he would climb back down with the vine, and he would have no problems doing it. My stepdad used to always tell us, yeah, don't climb that because that's poison ivy. And I thought to myself, wait a minute. There's only one way to find out. And I'm pretty confident I've never gotten poison ivy before, and I've touched shit like this. So I just went up there and climbed it myself. Now, is it just so happened to be that everyone who touched that poison ivy didn't get it when they were kids? Is it just so happens that, I mean, we all have different blood types, we all have different types of genetics, because this is my stepdad's side of the family, my cousin. What makes us all immune to that poison ivy? I don't think that we're necessarily immune to it. I think we all are affected by it. But because we are used to it, especially at a young age, you're not going to be carrying around the burden of possibly getting poison ivy or poison oak, or it doesn't matter. Put your poison in there. We can even talk about venom, getting stung by bees. Yeah, if you get stung by a bee, there's an allergic reaction from anybody. even if you don't bust out in hives, there's an allergic reaction with everybody. Depends on how good your immune system is and how well your body can fend off that poison, that toxin. So I'm gonna guess he was like 3 or 4. My brother was super young. We had a dog, and in his doghouse was infested with bees. Infested with bees and wasps. And my brother goes in there as a dare to go in there, and he actually went in that doghouse full of bees. And I mean full, I mean hundreds, thousands of bees in this little doghouse. And he went in there, got stung like crazy at 3-4 years old, busted out in hives and everything. Well, guess what? Now he can take a bee sting like anybody's business, because his body got used to it at a young age. And when I mean hundreds of bees stung him, I'm not joking. Like 100 bees stung my brother. And his head, his arms, his shoulders, everything got stung. He got stung to the point of that normal person dying, who isn't used to that type of effect from all these bees. Now, there's a tribe in Africa, and I know there's tribes other places, but this is the documentary I saw, where it's a very old school, primitive group, culture and community, which has their babies brought up with cobras. Now, we all know cobras are heavily venomous, right? So, knowing that these cobras can bite and kill people in one bite, they have their newborns around these cobras, and they basically train their babies not to be scared of the cobras. The cobras don't bite the kids. They have cobras all around the house, and they just make sure to have dominance over these cobras. They're almost like pets, but they use them for some sort of basically tolerance, to build up tolerance to the cobras. So they're around the cobras, they get used to them, they don't have a bad aura going with the cobras. Of course, when cobras sense, they use their tongue, so they can feel different vibrations and auras and things of that nature. Different types of frequency in the air using their tongue. And they can sense if something is a threat and things like that. Of course, if it's not sensing it, especially with babies, you know, babies don't even know what a cobra fucking is or that it's lethal. So, of course, they're not going to be scared. And when they're brought up in that environment, they're not scared. The cobras aren't scared and want to have a reaction strike or anything like that. So, what happens is the babies grow up and they can be around cobras, and cobras can be around humans, and they build a tolerance for each other. Now, what this tribe also does is take the venom, so they extract the venom, they take the fangs, they put them into a jar, and it extracts all the venom. They take that venom, they dry it, they turn it into a powder, and then they add it with their meals and their drinks. Now, of course, venom is lethal. It's very dangerous. But they're doing this to build up a tolerance. I don't know if it's because the tribe would be... you know, they had dangerous ancestors in the past, dangerous encounters with different types of cobras, and they would die left and right, so they came up with this strategy because, you know, the ancients knew that you build up a tolerance to something and you won't have a problem. It's the people that don't build up a tolerance. It's like when the white man went to North America, you know, and they want to say that, you know, North America or Europeans gave these Native Americans all these deadly diseases. Well, of course, the natives from Europe are used to those diseases. Therefore, they're not going to die to those diseases because they're basically somewhat immune. So when they go across the seas to a culture that has never experienced these diseases, they're going to get it 10 times worse. Does this make sense? This is why a lot of people claim that flu shots are the right thing, because you have a virus and you get immune to that viral infection, that virus that would encounter you, right? Now, I'm not pro-vaccine or anything. You can already watch my videos on that shit. Definitely not pro-vaccine. I look at the science behind it. I mean, that again, no, that's another thing for another day. That's a whole hour topic. Anyways, so they would build up these defenses against venom in the things around them, which the dangerous thing was the cobras, right? And when you're building up these defenses, you're not going to be affected when you do get bit. If that margin of error happens and these cobra get a reaction strike and get you, oh, you just ward it off. Now there's this other guy, and I'm going to continue with snakes, even though I'm pretty sure I made my point. I just thought of this. There's this guy that handled all types of snakes. I don't remember where he's from. I think he's an Aussie. I think he's from Australia. And he has like a pet. I could be wrong. This could be America. This could be somewhere else. I have no idea. But this guy has hundreds of snakes. And he handles every one, even a poisonous one, by hand. And does nothing special about guarding himself. He gets bit all the fucking time. And, you know, the most deadly snakes in the world have bitten this guy. And the effects on him are like legitly nothing these days. He said before, when he used to get bit as a kid, it would affect him. But as he got older, he got more tolerance built up. And of course, the more tolerance you have, the more your immune system's going to be easily able to fend off a snake bite. Or any type of venom, really, when it really boils down to it. Now, I talked about poison, allergies, bacteria. I mean, this really goes with anything, right? So, if you're an alcoholic, I mean, we can go to any different tangent, but I just want to make my point on a few things. But if you're an alcoholic, you know, if you're drinking every day, if you take a shot of alcohol, it's not going to affect you, all right? You're going to need 10 shots to affect you. But if you're a normal everyday Joe, hasn't drinking in a couple years, you know, what's going to happen to you when you take a shot? Whoa, I'm lightheaded all of a sudden, right? You understand what I'm getting at? Same thing with potheads. You're smoking pot, you haven't smoked pot in 30 years, and then you take a hit of pot, whoa, you're going to be on cloud 9. Doesn't matter if it is terrible marijuana, you know, just bottom of the barrel shit. You're going to be on cloud 9. But if you're that pothead that smokes every day, high quality pot every day, and you're a pothead, and you take a hit of pot, you're like, well, this isn't going to do it for me. I'm going to need another 10 hits, right? So this goes with anything, and basically I wanted to make this video as short as possible so I get all the information out there. Again, I had a million other topics I could talk about when it comes to this, but I chose a few because those are major. Bacteria, poisons, venoms, allergies. I think those are the most important things. You know, get your bloodstream used to them, especially the bacteria part. Get your body used to that stuff, because I feel great, right? The only time when people get sick is generally, and when we're not talking about viruses, is generally during the winter. Now, if you realize why that is, why people get sick during the winter, it's because your body is lost the tolerance that it once had when it was dealing with all these bugs. So, yeah, just keep your body strong and eat healthy. Do everything that you can do. Exercise. I ride my bike every single day, so I might even make this a thing. This is a nice little stump, and I don't think anyone in this industrial park behind me is going to do anything about me just coming here and making videos. So let's make this a daily thing, shall we? Let me know what you guys think. Stay tuned for more content. Plenty more coming.